The dawn of June 22, 1941, broke in silence before the storm of fire began. Across a 1,800-mile front, German forces surged into the Soviet Union. Tanks roared across fields still heavy with morning dew. Aircraft screamed overhead, and entire villages vanished in the first day. Private Alexei Morozov, a young Soviet conscript from a small village near Minsk, woke to the sound of bombs. His unit had no orders, no plan, just fear. He looked up at the black sky filled with burning planes and whispered, "So it begins." Within weeks, millions were caught in the trap. German panzers cut deep into Soviet territory, leaving nothing but ash behind. Civilians fled east with whatever they could carry. Those too slow were left behind, or worse. Alexei's division fought near Smolensk, armed with outdated rifles and little food. They watched the world collapse around them, comrades buried under falling earth, tanks rolling over trenches. Yet somehow they held on. By winter, the invaders had reached the gates of Moscow. But the land itself turned against them. Snow, hunger, frostbite. The Red Army did not die. It froze, healed, and began to strike back. They thought Russia would fall like the others, Alexei wrote in his torn notebook. But Russia does not fall, it endures. If there was a place where hell had an address, it was called Stalingrad. By late 1942, the Volga River ran red. Bombers turned the proud industrial city into rubble, yet the Soviets refused to yield. Alexei, now a hardened soldier, crossed the river under sniper fire. The city was nothing but ruins and dust. Every building was a fortress, every basement a tomb. Fighting wasn't over miles, but meters. Rooms changed hands 10 times a day. He met a group of civilians living in the basement of a destroyed apartment. A little girl offered him a piece of frozen bread. He smiled, though his lips were cracked and bleeding. That crumb of kindness felt more precious than gold. Weeks turned into months. Supplies ran dry, but the will to fight burned brighter. The Germans were trapped in a city that refused to die. And when the winter came, it came like vengeance, encircling the invaders in ice and steel. By February 1943, the once mighty Sixth Army lay silent. Alexei stood among the ruins, watching thousands surrender. This is not victory, he thought. It's survival wearing victory's face. Summer of 1943, the largest tank battle in human history. The fields of Kursk trembled under thousands of engines. Metal met metal, sky met fire. Alexei's unit, now veterans, dug in trenches surrounded by the thunder of artillery. The German offensive was meant to crush them, but this time the Red Army was ready. T-34s roared forward, colliding with Tiger tanks in a storm of steel and smoke. The ground shook like an earthquake. In the chaos, Alexei's best friend, Sergei, shouted above the noise, "If we fall, our children will never rise." The battle raged for days. When it ended, the plains were silent, littered with burnt armor and twisted metal. The Soviet flag still stood. It was the turning point, the moment when the unstoppable war machine of the East began to roll west. Alexei wrote, "We were no longer the hunted, we had become the storm." By 1944, the Red Army pushed relentlessly toward Europe. Belarus, Ukraine, and Poland all paid in blood to reclaim their freedom. Alexei's division marched through scorched forests and shattered towns. They found mass graves, destroyed villages, families wiped out. Revenge burned in every heart. At night they sat around fires made from broken beams. No one spoke. Each man carried ghosts, faces they could never forget. As they entered Poland, the snow fell again, as if the earth was trying to bury what it had seen. One morning they reached a place surrounded by barbed wire and silence, a concentration camp. Alexei dropped his rifle when he saw what was inside. "I thought I had seen the worst," he whispered. "I was wrong." It was no longer about borders or politics. It was about humanity and how far it could fall. April 1945. The Red Army surrounded Berlin, the final prize and the final nightmare. Alexei's unit fought through the shattered city block by block. The sound of artillery never stopped. Civilians hid in basements, praying for silence that would not come. On May 2, Berlin fell. The Nazi flag was torn down and the war in Europe ended. Alexei stood beneath the smoking ruins of the Reichstag, holding his tattered Soviet flag. Around him, soldiers wept not for victory, but for the years that would never return. He opened his notebook one last time and wrote, "We have won, but we have lost too much to ever feel it." When the war ended, over 26 million Soviets were gone, soldiers, mothers, children. The Eastern Front wasn't just a battlefield. It was the graveyard of an empire and the birth of another.